Welcome to the I-80 and I-215 renewed Salt Lake East online public open house and hearing. If you've joined the meeting between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m., feel free to review the presentation slides, draft environmental document, noise report, and FAQ located under the document section on the main public input event page. You can type a question into the chat box to the right of the video screen at any time throughout the hour, and a project team member will send a response back to you. If you have enlarged your video into full screen mode, simply return the video back to its regular size and you will see the chat box function and supporting documents. If at any time you can't see questions or responses coming through in your chat box view, try refreshing your screen. We will answer as many questions as we can throughout the hour, but if you do not receive an answer to your question tonight, please feel free to reach out to our project team at any time at 844-909-3278 or by email at saltlakeeast@utah.gov. We will disable the live chat Q&A and start the presentation at 6:30 p.m. sharp, after which you'll have the opportunity to give formal verbal comments on the environmental document by calling in and leaving a voicemail. Each voicemail will be played back into the streamed meeting. Please note that the project team will not be providing responses to voicemail comments during this meeting. However, all comments will be transcribed and responses will be available when completed on the project website. Before you leave tonight, please take the time to sign in for this event under the Please Sign In tab. Leave your name, email, and phone number so that we can document attendance and provide future correspondence. We will notify you directly via email when public comments and responses are published. For anyone who's just joining us, welcome to the I-80 and I-215 renewed Salt Lake East online public open house and hearing. If you're here between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m., feel free to review the presentation slides, draft environmental document, noise report, and FAQ located under the document section on this main public event page. You can type a question into the chat box to the right of the video screen at any time throughout the hour, and a project team member will send a response back to you. If you've enlarged your video into full screen mode, simply return the video to its regular size and you'll see that the chat box function and supporting documents are there. If at any time you can't see questions or responses coming through your chat box view, try refreshing your screen. We will answer as many questions as we can throughout the hour, but if you do not receive an answer to your question tonight, please feel free to reach out to our project team at 844-909-3278 or at saltlakeeast@utah.gov. We will disable the live chat Q&A and start the presentation at 6:30 p.m. sharp, after which you'll have the opportunity to give formal verbal comments on the environmental document by calling in and leaving a voicemail. Each voicemail will be played back into the streamed meeting. Please note the project team will not be providing responses to voicemail comments during this meeting. However, all comments will be transcribed and responses will be available when completed on the project website. Before you leave tonight, please make sure to sign in for this event under the Sign In tab on this page. Leave your name, email, and phone number so that we can document attendance and provide future correspondence. We'll notify you directly via email when public comments and responses are published. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the I-80 and I-215 renewed Salt Lake East online public open house and hearing. Feel free to review the presentation slides, environmental document, noise report, and FAQ located under the document section on this main public event page. You can type a question into the chat box to the right of the screen at any time throughout the hour, and a project team member will send a response back to you. If at any time you can't see the questions or responses coming through in your chat box view, try refreshing your screen. To refresh your screen, you can press Control and F5 on a PC or Shift and R on Mac to force refresh your browser. We'll answer as many questions as we can throughout the hour, but if you do not receive an answer to your question tonight, please feel free to reach out to the project team at any time. You can reach us at our hotline at 844-909-3278 or by email at saltlakeeast@utah.gov. We will disable the live chat Q&A at 6:30 and begin the presentation, after which you'll have the opportunity to give formal verbal comments on the environmental document by calling in and leaving a voicemail. Each voicemail will be played back into the streamed meeting. Before you leave tonight, please take the time to sign in for this event under the Please Sign In tab. Leave your name, email, and phone number so that we can document attendance and provide future correspondence. We'll also notify you directly via email when all public comments and responses are published. For anyone just joining us, welcome to the I-80 and I-215 renewed Salt Lake East online public open house and hearing. For those of you that have already submitted comments, thank you very much for those. We're continuing to review and answer those as we go through the rest of this first hour. You can type a question in the chat box to the right of the video screen, and a project team member will send the response back to you. If at any time you can't see the questions or responses coming through in your chat box view, try refreshing your screen. We'll answer as many questions as we can through 6:30, but if you do not receive an answer to your question tonight, please feel free to reach out to our project team via hotline at 844-909-3278 or by email at saltlakeeast@utah.gov. We will disable the live chat Q&A and start the presentation at 6:30 p.m. After that, you'll have the opportunity to give formal verbal comments on the environmental document by calling in and leaving a voicemail. Each voicemail will be played back into the streamed meeting. Before you leave tonight, please take the time to sign in for this event under the Please Sign In tab. Leave your name, email, and phone number so that we can document attendance and provide future correspondence. We'll also notify you directly via email when public verbal comments and responses are published. We've got just about 5 minutes left of our live chat Q&A portion. If you have any additional questions, please get those in and we will work to answer as many as we can that came in before 6:30 before moving into the presentation portion of the evening. Thank you everyone for submitting your questions tonight. We will go ahead and disable the Q&A at this point. If your question did not get answered, we will follow back up with you directly with an answer to your question. And we will also publish the full report of the Q&A live chat on our website when that is complete. Welcome now everyone to the I-80 and I-215 renewed Salt Lake East official public hearing portion of this online event. We have now disabled the live chat Q&A, but if your question was not answered, again, we will be following up with you to answer those questions. And we'll also publish the full report of the live chat Q&A when that is completed. We will also email you directly when that has been done. So please be sure that you've signed up under the Please Sign Up tab before you leave tonight. My name is Katie Corianos, and I'm the Public Involvement Manager for this project. And we'll provide information tonight on how you can participate in this online public hearing. Tonight, you'll also hear from Rebecca Stromness, our Udot Project Manager, and Shane Marshall, our Consultant Engineering Project Manager. The purpose of this public hearing is to provide information about Udot's proposed improvements to I-80 between 1300 East and 2300 East, and to I-215 between 3300 South and 4500 South in East Salt Lake County. We'll begin with a short presentation, after which we will be taking formal verbal comments that will be included in the environmental document. Those that wish to provide a verbal comment can call into the meeting and leave a voicemail. Each voicemail that will be played back publicly into the meeting in the order in which it's received. So if you haven't yet, again, please sign into the meeting with your name and email address before you leave so that we can get an accurate count of participants and gather your contact information for future correspondence. If you wish to provide a verbal comment after the short presentation, please use your phone to dial 855-925-2801 and enter code 9344. Then press star for more options. Next, press 2 to record a voicemail. Each voicemail can be up to 3 minutes long. Please remember to mute your speakers while you leave your voicemail to reduce echo and feedback, and please say and spell your first and last name. When you've finished your comment, you can press pound or hang up to end the call. Please note, we will not be responding to voicemail comments this evening. All official voicemail comments will be transcribed and responded to by the environmental team and will be posted to our project website when completed. When you sign into the meeting tonight, make sure you provide your email address so that we can notify you directly via email when your comment and response have been published. If you do not choose to leave a comment via voicemail tonight, you can still submit a formal comment to be included in the environmental document through email or postal mail between now and August 31st. There's a downloadable comment form on the main event page here, listed under the document section for mailed comments. Please note that any mailed comments must be postmarked by August 31st to be included in the document. More information on email and mail comments can be found under the comment information tab on this main event page. Now, our Udot project manager, Rebecca Stromness, will provide an overview of the proposed improvements to I-80 and I-215 in East Salt Lake County.
Thank you, Katie. As Katie mentioned, my name is Becky Stromness, and I'm the Udot project manager for this big project. Udot is proposing to reconstruct I-80 between 1300 East and 2300 East, and over on I-215 between 3300 South and 4500 South. As part of this effort, the existing concrete pavement would be removed and replaced with new concrete. In addition to that work, a new lane would be added to eastbound Interstate 80 between 1300 East and 2300 East. As the Salt Lake Valley grows rapidly, so does the need to plan ahead to reduce congestion on our major interstates. This project is being done to address future travel demand, replace aging pavement and bridges, and enhance safety for drivers. Additionally, The project would improve bike and pedestrian crossings over I-80 in the Sugar House area. We showed you the overall project limits map a few minutes ago, but now we'll take a closer look at each segment, starting with I-215. In this location, the existing concrete will be removed and replaced with new concrete between 3300 South and 4500 South in the Mill Creek and Holiday areas. Concrete pavement is being used throughout the project because it holds up to high volume urban interstate traffic like we see on Interstate 80 and Interstate 215. It holds up substantially longer than asphalt and is significantly more cost-effective over the long term. It is important to note for nearby residents that as part of this reconstruction project, Udot will not allow for a concrete plant within the Udot right-of-way. The contractor, who will be selected in early 2021, will be responsible for identifying and securing property outside of the right-of-way for a concrete plant if needed, and may work with a private property owner to lease the land. Next, this map shows more details about proposed improvements to the I-80 segment of the project, including the new eastbound lane. The new lane would be built entirely within UDOT's existing operational right-of-way with no impact to private property or the Parley's Trail. There could be short-term trail closures for safety during construction, but there would be no change in permanent configuration to the trail. The bridges over I-80 at 1300 East and 1700 East would be demolished, reconstructed, and reconfigured to better accommodate bikes and pedestrians. The I-80 bridge over 20th East would also be demolished and reconstructed, and the I-80 bridge over 2300 East is scheduled to be rehabilitated and widened to accommodate the new eastbound lane. In order to rebuild 1300 East, the bridge itself would be closed to traffic for up to 21 days. For 7, the bridge would be closed to traffic for up to 4 months. The two bridges would never be closed at the same time, and drivers would be able to use each one as a detour, along with several other nearby cross streets. By allowing the contractor to fully close each bridge for a limited amount of time, we are able to minimize longer-term traffic impacts to the traveling public and complete the work more efficiently. At 20th East, where I-80 and the Parley's Trail come close together, there is 7 feet of space today. At this same location, I-80 and the trail are separated by a noise wall. Our design shows that after the 4th lane is added, 7 feet of space will still be there. We're able to maintain that 7 feet by widening toward what is now the median and flattening the curve of the road slightly in that location. Shane will now talk through details surrounding the proposed designs for Mainline I-80 and the I-80 bridges.
Thanks, Becky. Like Becky said, my name is Shane Marshall. I'm the consultant project manager for this project, helping Becky deliver the project. This graphic shows the proposed typical cross-section of I-80 facing eastbound and indicates what the eastbound I-80 would look like after construction is complete. 3 westbound lanes and 4 eastbound lanes between 13th East and 23rd East. This new eastbound lane is a continuation of the previous I-80 widening project from State Street to 7th East. We're just extending that lane to its logical point where drivers split off at 215 or continued on to eastbound I-80. The Wasatch Front Regional Council Regional Transportation Plan calls for widening I-80 in this area. There is a need today to widen eastbound I-80 in particular from a capacity and operational standpoint. And so we're planning to include it in this project to address that need and get a high value for the taxpayer by completing this work now. The Regional Transportation Plan also states the need to widen westbound I-80, but the need does not exist today, so the westbound widening will not be completed at this time. In addition to the proposed infrastructure improvements, this project is proposing improvements to bicycle and pedestrian access and safety. The new 13th East Bridge over I-80 would feature a 17-foot multi-use trail separated from traffic by a shoulder and a concrete curb on the east side and a 6-foot sidewalk and 6-foot shoulder on the west side. This is an aerial view of the bridge and the proposed new design, which shows that the new bridge would be quite a bit wider than the existing to make these bike and pedestrian improvements. Our project limits are contained to the 13th East Bridge only, so our team has worked closely with the Salt Lake City Transportation and Engineering Department to design a bridge that is compatible with the city's future plans to reconstruct 13th East in about 2024. Similar to the 13th East Bridge, we've worked closely with Salt Lake City to collaborate on design for the new 17th East Bridge. This bridge includes this 18-foot multi-use trail separated from traffic by a curb on the west side and an 18-foot bike lane on the east side. The aerial view of this bridge shows that we are maintaining the existing footprint, but reconfiguring to make it more accessible and safer for bikes and pedestrians. Next, Becky will review the environmental study process required to build these improvements.
An environmental study was completed this summer and is available for review under the Documents section of the main online meeting tab where you're viewing this video. This slide and the one after outline the findings of the environmental study, including which environmental resources are present in the project limits, the impacts the project would have to these resources, and the proposed mitigation. In large part because the proposed improvements would be built entirely within UDOT's existing operational right-of-way, anticipated environmental impacts as a result of the project are minimal. In terms of air quality, the project has the potential to increase dust during active construction. Additionally, because the project is outlined on Wasatch Front Regional Council's Regional Transportation Plan, it has already been confirmed to adhere to a larger conforming air quality plan. As part of the environmental study, a noise analysis was conducted over the I-80 and I-215 project limits to measure existing noise levels and future noise levels. The future noise levels expected as a result of the proposed reconstruction and widening of eastbound I-80 between 1300 East and 2300 East. Shane will discuss the specifics of the noise study results.
The proposed improvements would result in an average of a 0.4 decibel increase throughout the study area, a change which generally cannot be detected. 15 potential noise walls were evaluated, and none of the 15 noise walls met the requirements outlined in the UDOT noise abatement policy. Therefore, no new noise walls are included in this project. The project will leave in place all existing noise walls unaffected by construction activities, and any existing noise walls impacted by construction will be replaced in kind, which means we will rebuild these at the existing height. This map of I-80 outlines 9 of the 15 locations that were studied for new noise walls, shown in blue, or modifications to existing walls, which were shown in red. None of the evaluated walls qualified to be built or modified as per UDOT noise abatement policy. The existing noise walls shown here will remain in place after construction. This map outlines the remainder of the 15 locations looked at for either new noise walls, shown in blue again, or changes to existing walls, shown in red. Like I-80, none of the evaluated walls qualified to be built or modified as per the UDOT policy. The existing noise walls shown here will again remain after construction. The detailed noise study and policy are both available in the list of documents shown directly underneath the screen you are viewing now. If you've enlarged your video, simply minimize it to see the document section of that page. You can also view these items on the project website at any time.
We are currently on day 1 of our official public comment period, where the public can review these proposed improvements and the corresponding environmental study and provide formal input to be included in the environmental document. Next, the project team will be releasing the request for proposals to the design build contracting community this fall, and then a contractor will be selected in early 2021. Construction is currently scheduled to begin in spring 2021 and is anticipated to last through late fall 2022.
This concludes the formal presentation, and we'll now begin the official verbal comment portion of the hearing at this point. Thank you for participating so far, and we invite you now to call in to provide formal comment on the proposed improvements in the environmental study. Again, to submit an official public comment tonight, please use your phone to dial 855-925-2801 and enter code 9344. Then press star for more options and select 2 to record a voicemail. Each voicemail will be limited to 3 minutes and will be played back into the public hearing in the order in which it was received. Please remember to mute your speakers while you have your voicemail to reduce echo and feedback, and to say and spell your first and last name for us. You can press pound or hang up when your comment is complete. Again, we will not be responding to voicemail comments this evening, but all official voicemail comments will be transcribed, addressed, and posted to our project website. Remember to sign into the meeting tonight, and when you provide your email address, we'll be able to notify you directly when your comment and response have been published. So we'll go ahead and begin playing our voicemail comments now. Please be aware that there may be about a 30-second delay between each comment that we play tonight.
Hi, my name is Steve Pullman, and I'm following your instructions, but I don't hear the meeting when I press 1. I do have a question. If you go to concrete, where will the concrete be produced and blended for the road work? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephen Dibble, a resident in the area. And I was wondering, with the price of oil as low as it is, why are they insisting on using concrete as a replacement finish when with the oil or asphaltic concrete, it's a much lower noise generated, and noise seems to be the big issue along there. So it doesn't make sense that, to me, that they're trying to not mitigate that in any way they can. Thank you.
Testing. Just trying to see if this thing works.
Hi, my name is Louisa Piper. I live along the last hole on the country club, and I'm sitting outside right now, and I hope you can hear the noise in my ear at this busy time of day. It's just going to get worse, so I really hope that we do something about this noise level and erect a wall, or at the very least use the asphalt. That's all I have to say. Thanks for your time.
This is John Benyon, and I have a question. Under what conditions would the federal government pay for asphalt on the surface? Thank you very much. Bye.
My name is John Hart. I'm a resident that lives at the end of Hannibal Street, right up against the golf course, across the street from Sugar House Park. We love the neighborhood. It's a wonderful place to live. We love the access to the Parley's Trail, to Sugar House Park. But our backyard is basically unusable for any socializing. We can't have barbecues. We can't hang out because we regularly measure 75 dBA, maybe more, day and night. It's constant. And we're fairly close to the point A11, which you measured, and that corroborates the data we've measured. We can pretty clearly hear cars, trucks, motorcycles, all the way from 2300 East, all the way running down to 1300 East. Super loud. And it's disheartening to hear Udot acknowledge that there's excess noise due to I-80 traffic. They're planning to add an additional lane, which also will add noise. They acknowledge that over time, traffic will increase that noise. And in their data, they show there could be significant reductions, but it appears that the points that they're using have been cherry-picked such that, for instance, A11, a 20-foot retaining wall or a 20-foot sound wall would reduce the sound in our area by 20 dB. But because you've also selected a few quiet points in the golf course, we don't hit the 35% threshold for minus 7 dB reduction. And so instead of trying something, the answer is to do nothing. And that's pretty infuriating. As a resident who lives here, and to hear you acknowledge that sound is bad and that it's going to get worse, and there are ways you could improve that, not even considering things like road surface. It's just sound walls could improve it according to your measure. But because there are a few quiet points, you're not going to do anything. That is disheartening. And it makes me as a resident feel powerless, and that's very frustrating. I support handling traffic. I support building out infrastructure to help our economy grow. I'm happy to pay taxes to support that, but I wish that you would consider the impact on the neighbors. You look at the ends of each of the streets coming up to the country club, and none of them were considered as part of this study because the country club is the frontage. Yet we're the ones that have all of the noise, and that is very frustrating. And I wish that you would hear this. I hope that you will hear this, and I hope that you will address it. Thanks.
This is John Benyon. I would just like to go on record to remind Udot that over 650 signatures of petitions for noise reduction were submitted to the legislature, and I assume that they got to Udot, which requested noise abatement for this stretch of I-80. And the vast majority of that covered the entire Parley's Interchange project, but the vast majority of the people who signed that petition live in the stretch that is being considered right now, which is from 1300 East to 2300 East. Thank you very much, on I-80. Thank you very much for this opportunity. This is John Benyon. I have a question for you, and that would be, if UDOT really wanted and was willing to put in a sound wall along this section of I-80 that we're discussing tonight, do they have the ability to do that by using slightly different basically by just changing some minor technical points inside their own policy? Would the federal government still approve that? That's what I'd like to know. Is that possible? Is it possible? It's not whether or not UDOT wants to make the changes, but if they decided to go along with the sentiment of the neighborhood, would, in your expert judgment, that be accepted by UDOT, by the federal government, and still be funded? For example, using a 1 hour or 24-hour sampling method rather than the 15-minute approximation that was used in your own sound study. Would that somehow negate the validity? Would using that kind of a sampling method negate the validity of it, or would it be okay, especially if it showed a different answer? And if you got that, would you submit it because it showed that this can actually be done? I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Bye.
Hello. I was wondering if there will be bridges built on the 13th East Bridge above the, for the bike, pedestrian, multi-use trail, above or below where I-13th East turns turns east to go to I-80 eastbound, or if they go down a big loop to turn to I-80 westbound. Those are very dangerous pedestrian crossings since those roads, access ramps are so busy. This is by Amy Marcotte. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Rachel Sheffield, Rachael Sheffield. My question is about the impact of tearing down the bridges over 13th, 17th, and particularly 20th East. I live just south of 20th East, which right now is undergoing a major reconstruction. How is the tearing down of the bridge, particularly on 20th East, how is that going to impact the rest of the neighborhood? Will we have to have that area closed itself again, as it is closed right now? And what would be the time frame? You didn't particularly address that. Thank you.
We don't currently have any additional voicemail comments in the queue, but we are here to take voicemail comments until 7:30 this evening. So please, if you would like to leave a verbal comment to be included in the environmental document, please use your phone to call 855-925-2801, code 9344, press star for more options, and then 2 to record a voicemail. Also, please remember, if we didn't have a chance to respond to you via the live chat Q&A, we will reach out with an answer if we have your name and email, and we'll also post the full record of the live chat to our project website. If you did not include your name and email in your question, please email the question to us at saltlakeeast@utah.gov. To submit an official public comment after the hearing tonight, you can still submit comments via email or mail within the public comment period, so from today through August 31st. You can see the comment information tab on this page to learn more about the specifics there, and we do have a downloadable comment form for you to use. The materials shared at this public open house and public hearing tonight will be available on our project website going forward, udot.utah.gov/saltlakeeast. You can review those there anytime. We're available by hotline or by email to provide answers to questions as well. And again, you've got through August 31st to submit official public comments to be included in the environmental document. We've got another verbal comment coming in that we'll play now.
Hi, my name is Andy Tyre. I live in the Country Club area, very near where the proposed changes or reconstruction is going to be done for I-80. There is a significant amount of noise coming off of I-80. I think it's been known for a long time. I think the officials have known that for a long time. And I'd just like to also add my name to the concerned residents in the area, as the noise is just far and above what I think should be acceptable and based upon the sound studies that I've also been privy to. And I would just appreciate any concern either with the surfacing that's being chosen or even better, a sound wall, or maybe even best, both. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Hi, this is James. I am interested in understanding better the impact of the wall that was built along the south edge of the I-80 section. Stands to reason that that would be reflecting the sound toward the neighborhood to the north and maybe intensifying the sound in this area. and perhaps balancing that out with a wall on the north side I'm interested in understanding how the sound reflects and refracts around between those walls, and whether there's an option to use an absorbent material of some kind that can help dampen the sound. Thank you.
Hi, this is John Benyon one more time. My fourth question is, are you just going to keep this line open in case somebody calls until the half hour is up, until 7:30, or are you going to shut this down? If you could answer that, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
That's the last comment in the queue for right now. We will be here until 7:30 p.m. tonight to take verbal voicemail comments. Also, as a reminder, again, the supporting materials and documents are on our website. A recording of this meeting will also be included on our website for review. And when completed, we will post a full report of the live chat Q&A as well. We have a voicemail comment that's come through that we'll play now.
My name is Brian Minch. The statement that the end result of this repaving project will be less than a 1 decibel increase in noise seems difficult to believe. Based on my own experience of traveling on existing stretches of I-15 and changing from asphalt to cement or vice versa, there is a marked change in noise and vibration within the car itself. I would like to know how that study was calculated and the supporting evidence for that claim. I would also like to know if that noise increase estimation includes taking into account the anticipated increased traffic of 27,000 vehicles per day by 2050, which this project will facilitate. Further, I would like to know if this modeling includes a trend toward electric vehicles that are heavier than combustion engine vehicles, and does it also include the increased traffic that would be the result of building an inland port in the northwest quadrant. I'd also like to know where the cement plant for the project will be erected. Suffice it to say, I am skeptical of the claim that the end result of the repaving would only be an increase of 1 decibel, given that most of the homes near I-215 were built before the freeway was built. Owners have already been victimized by the presence of the freeway. They should not be victimized further by a paving strategy that unnecessarily increases the noise even more. At the very least, to compensate and reduce wear and tear on the road, speed limits should be reduced if UDOT refuses to use the option of asphalt for resurfacing in favor of cement. UDOT talks about purpose and need, but all too often UDOT has tunnel vision of purpose and need. There are other purposes and needs besides addressing traffic congestion and adding lanes and cost savings. Quality of life and noise reduction is also a need that UDOT is planning on sacrificing for residents who live near these projects. This is another example of UDOT prioritizing maximizing vehicle use over all other considerations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jana Proctor. I am a resident in the Parleys area that is involved with this additional lane and no sound walls planned. And I would just like to register my full support of any type of sound abatement. We are unable to use our backyard. We are unable to hear normal conversation if our windows or doors are open. And I think we've been promised kind of empty promises for so many years. It's very frustrating to see this project finally come to fruition that we've been waiting for, hoping that this is what's going to fix the sound problem. And now it's going to be worse with an additional lane and the concrete. I'm in full support of a sound wall and asphalt covering. And I'm wondering, my question is how is it that private companies get different readings than what UDOT is getting? And perhaps if this doesn't qualify in UDOT's policy, then UDOT needs to maybe change their policy because the sound is intolerable. And I would just want to register that I'm in favor of sound walls and asphalt and any other thing you can think of to reduce the sound in my neighborhood so I may enjoy my home. Thank you very much.
That's the last voicemail comment in the queue for right now. Again, we will be taking voicemail comments through 7:30 this evening. We will not be responding to voicemail comments during this meeting, but all official voicemail comments will be transcribed, addressed, and posted to our project website. So if you haven't yet, remember to sign into the meeting with your email address. We will email you when those responses have been published, as well as when you can view the full live chat Q&A record. To submit an official public comment after this hearing, please submit via email or mail within the public comment period between now and August 31st. You can check out the comment information tab on this page to learn more about that. We also have a downloadable comment form if you prefer to send in a written comment via mail. We have a voicemail comment in the queue that will play now.
Hello, my name is Jana Proctor. I have another question. I'm just wondering if there is any other neighborhood in the Salt Lake Valley that has equivalent sound noise problems at the same decibels that does not have a sound wall. So I'm just wondering if there's anybody with higher noise levels that has not already been given sound walls to quiet their neighborhood. Thank you.
Again, this is the formal verbal comment portion of our online public hearing. If you'd like to leave a verbal comment, go ahead and call in using the directions on the screen. Otherwise, you can submit an official comment after the hearing via email or mail. If you did not get your question answered tonight, we will do our best to respond to those and reach out to you with an answer. We'll also publish the full report of the live chat Q&A on our project website. That's udot.utah.gov/Salt Lake East. We have another voicemail comment coming in that we'll play.
Hello, this is Steve Pullman once again. I read in your questions and answers, and it says, will there be a concrete plant adjacent to I-215 as there was on the previous Udot projects? The answer is Udot will not allow for concrete batch plant within the project limits. Yet it states then the contractor has the responsibility for finding a spot.
Hello, my name is Jana Proctor. I have another question.
And this is a concern because the questions and responses with regard to the sound pollution with the concrete plant, there was also particulate and diesel pollution, which was hazardous. So I need to have a definitive answer if that area could possibly be used to place a concrete plant. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Larson. I live on Parley's Terrace, and I back onto I-80. We are directly affected by the freeway as well as many others who have called in, and we've been here 10 years and the noise has gotten increasingly louder. I was really hopeful that UDOT would take into consideration that we're going to try to, think of human beings and the people who are affected by these projects as much as, a more comfortable ride to work. It's just very frustrating to hear your plan that you've presented. It just seems like you've eliminated the human factor from it. I'd like to personally invite any member or all members of UDOT to come over to my home anytime on any day, because every day living along here is a loud day. Like others have expressed, you cannot really carry a conversation with anyone in your backyard. I'm about ready to host a DUP meeting outside because of COVID, and I am truly nervous that no one will be able to hear each other over the noise from the freeway. I am in full support of putting up a sound wall any other kind of mechanism that would absorb noise on the sound wall, as well as asphalt in the new surfacing. I really hope you guys will listen to us. You sound like just everything's just honky-dory on your end, but I'm really discouraged at what has been presented, because we've just been given lots of false promises in the past, and thought maybe this was the time you were going to hear us, and hope that will happen. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is John Hart again. I was looking at the maps given in Appendix B, specifically maps 2, or map 3, map 4, map 5, the ones that show the existing wall on the south side of I-80. And one thing that I note is that on the south side, there's no golf course between the freeway and the homes. And so each home gets marked, each home gets tested. And many of the homes behind the sound wall, their noise level is below the threshold. But on the north side, it appears that the data set gets heavily diluted by the golf course, because instead of a data point every 75 to 100 feet with a normal residential lot, we have data points spaced out maybe 500 to 1,000 feet, where one quiet spot can have a significant impact on the data set. For instance, on map 3, point A12 is one quiet spot way off, and A10, A11, and A13 are the only other points on that entire map on the north side that were measured. So 3 of the 4 points are exceedingly noisy, but that 1/4 point, it's diluting the whole thing. And it appears that low density of data points is falsely pushing that the noise threshold and the impact that wall would have, because the golf course doesn't block any noise. It's open space. The noise coming across the golf course comes right up into the neighborhood. And I think that addresses a lot of the concerns that other people have spoken about, where all of these residential streets coming down that end at the golf course, they're noisy. Come join us, have lunch, let's hang out, work from my backyard for a week. You'll see it's we're not blocked by a couple trees and some grass. So I'm interested to know, how were those points selected, and why is the density so much lower than that of the residential area? Thank you.
We've got about 5 minutes left in the public hearing time frame. We currently don't have any additional voicemails in the queue. We'll be here until 7:30. We have a voicemail in the queue that we'll play now.
Hi, I'm just wondering if we're going to get any answers to all these questions on the website, because you state that we'll get answers individually, but I hope that we get it all together, period. You've raised some very valid points, and I hope UDOT and the rest of you respond to the neighbors. Thank you so much.
Yes, just to reiterate, any formal voicemail comment will be addressed and will receive a response. That will be published in the environmental document and posted to our website. If you signed into the meeting tonight, we have your email address and we will email you directly when that's ready. Any questions and answers through the live chat portion of our first hour tonight will also be published on our website. And again, we can notify you when that is completed and published.
This is Antone Clausen. I live on the south side of I-80, just below 1700 East. There's a string of tin houses that do exceed the noise criteria. In referring to the documents, I think it's map 2 of 11, it shows that a wall was considered along the highway, not just in our section, but in a lot of the different sections along the freeway. But none of those walls were approved or met the criteria. I guess it's the reasonableness and feasibility criteria. And so none of the walls are going to be built. I'd like to understand better how that reasonable and feasible criteria was set and how it was determined that none of the walls meet that criteria to be built. Again, I was really excited to hear that a project was underway to add some volume to the freeway, because that meant that we could potentially get our sound walls. But to hear that that's not going to happen is really disheartening. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was the last voicemail comment in the queue. It's 7:31. Thank you to everyone for participating in this online public open house and hearing tonight. Again, if you have any questions that weren't addressed, we will either respond directly to you if you left your name and email address. Otherwise, please contact the project team via phone or email. You can visit udot.utah.gov/Salt Lake East to sign up for project updates moving into construction. And please, before you leave, if you haven't yet, please sign in, leave your contact information so that we can continue correspondence with you. Thank you.